Hi, getting Erev Shabbos, everybody. Welcome to Jerry's Corona Contemplations for Parshat Yitro, Jethro. Vehameven Yovin. Thank you for joining us. We will be discussing primarily Ma'amed Har Sinai. I kind of have to in this week's Parsha. There is something I didn't really key in on this last week in Parshat Beshalach, and it bears it bears going over, and it really goes into the whole Ma'amed Har Sinai. The Torah tells us, "B'chodesh hashlishi letzeit b'nei Yisrael be'eretz Mitzrayim." I think b'chodesh hazeh bo midbar Sinai. So they get to Har Sinai, the third month after leaving Mitzrayim, and then the Torah says something strange. It says, "Vayis'u merafidim vayavou midbar Sinai." I know they came from Refidim. It just told us they were at Refidim at the end of last week's Parsha, Vayavo Amalek. Why does the Torah say Vayisu Merafidim? And as I always say, the Torah does not waste real estate. They are telling us something. So let's go back to the end of last week's Parsha, the end of Beshalach. Vayavo Amalek vayilachem im Yisrael berefidim. They were in Refidim, and Amalek came and attacked them from the rear. Of course, we know Amalek attacked the weakest, the stragglers. Why is the Torah telling us here that they went from Refidim to Midbar Sinai? And if we pay attention to what happened at the end of last week's Parsha, we're going to see something very, very interesting. Why did Amalek attack Bnei Yisrael? Well, if we look in the Parsha, it says that the Bnei Yisrael complained about water. Right? They complained, and as soon as they complained, Vayavo Amalek. Right? It says, Vayavo Amalek v'yilachem im Yisrael berfidim. That's where they were. That's where they had this whole, after they left Maso Meriva, that's where they were attacked. And Amalek came because they kvetched. Because they said, Hayesh Elohim bekirbeinu im ayin, the next word is Vayavo Amalek. Hayesh Elohim bekirbeinu im ayin, Vayavo Amalek. What's the Torah telling us here? Vayis'u merafidim Vayavo midbar Sinai. They left Refidim. They left that state of questioning Hashem. Then Vayavo Midbar Sinai. Once they got that out of them, once they learned the lesson of Hayesh Elohim bekirbeinu im ayin Vayavo Amalek, Vayavo Midbar Sinai. In order to be makabel the Torah, in order to be a kli machzik Torah, we have to get rid of our doubts. I mean, we're human beings. We're not perfect. We're gonna doubt here, there, but we have to have this sense of emuna and bitachon. And once they internalize that lesson, remember we said earlier that the whole idea of going out of Mitzrayim is Sivlos Mitzrayim. We said that back in Parshat Va'era. V'lakachti eschem li la'am v'yisi lachem le'elohim v'yadatem ki ani Hashem Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem mitachat sivlot Mitzrayim. This idea of tolerating the Galut mentality, of tolerating this whole Hayesh Elokim bekirbeinu im ayin. Where was God? God's always right there. You get out of Refidim, you get out of yourself. You grow, you become a better person, you become a better Yid. Right? Then, Vayavo Midbar Sinai. Think about that. Why did the Torah say Vayisu Merafidim? We knew where they were. It's not just the physical place of Refidim. It was the attitude of Refidim. And in order to be a Kli Machzik Bracha and a Kli Machzik Torah, we have to have the attitude of gratitude. That's what the Torah is telling us. And it's, I think, one of the most important lessons of Ma'amad Har Sinai, where they came from and where they got to. And it's true, it was a 49-day journey from Yitzias Mitzrayim to Ma'amad Har Sinai. And as we know, when we count Sfira, when we count the Sfirat HaOmer, we do all the growth exercises, Chesed Shebechesed, Chesed Shebegvura, Gvura Shebechesed, and we climb the steps. We literally climb the steps to get to Har Sinai, and one of them is this idea of getting out of the whole notion of Refidim of Vayavo Amalek. Now, how can I talk about the Aseret HaDibrot without talking about Shabbos? I mean, this is my thing, so we're going to talk about Shabbos. Of all the mitzvos that are included in the Aseret HaDibrot, Shabbos, not kosher, not basar v'chalav, not sukkos, not any of the, not even Pesach, not the carbon Pesach, not the karbanos, of not davening, not talking in shul, not that that's not important. These are all very important things. But the Torah includes in the Aseret HaDibrot the top 10 Shabbos. Interesting. Ever spend a minute thinking about that? I mean, it's right up there with don't kill, don't steal, kibbut aveim, avodah zarah. It's a big one. Anochi Hashem. Ooh. Right? Don't covet. It's a very important one also. I'm going to throw that one in there too. But Shabbos, very, very important. Why? Because Shabbos, like I always say at the end of all these little messages, is the membership card. Hashem ki sheshet yamim asa Hashem et hashemayim v'et haaretz. He created the world in 6 days. Again, not to be taken literally, 6 periods of a lot of time, right? And he rested on the 7th day, whatever that means. So let's actually look at creation a little bit. I mean, using whatever science we have available to us. The Big Bang. Hashem said it, and bang, it happened. But it was a Big Bang at some point. It was the release of energy. The release of energy, and it was a huge amount of energy. And the universe was created, however Hashem did it. But we know that there was an immense release of energy. Hashem created the world by disseminating energy. Of all the malachos of Shabbos, which is the one that's specified in the Torah? Lo tavaru esh b'chol mashvotechem b'yom HaShabbat. Don't burn fire. Don't create. How do we create? How do we release energy? Well, we do it by physical labor, because that's what human beings do. We take in calories and we release calories. Those are measures of energy. But also by striking a match or turning the key to a car, we create. And Shabbat, if we want to be like Hashem, if we want to be like our Creator, we stop creating on Shabbat. Yes, we climb the stairs and we go to sleep and we eat, and those are all parts of, that's all a way of releasing energy, but we take our creative forces on Shabbat and we put them on pause. And that is why Shabbat is included in the Aseret HaDibrot, because we are showing Hashem, yes, we want to be part of your people. We want to emulate you. Mahu rachum afata rachum. Mahu, just as he does chesed, we do chesed. Just as he rested on the seventh day, we rest on our seventh day. The soul is a force of energy. Think about it. Look at a dead body. If you've ever done Tahara, you'll know it's not the person. It's a dead body. It's carrion. It's a dead thing. It's not a person. The person is the I, the me, the life, the psyche, the soul. Energy. What's the difference between a live body and a dead body? Energy. We are the energy. We are part of that force that was released so long ago. That's our Chelek Elokam Imal. God is energy. He is the force with the capital F. May the force be with you. Right? But we are part of that force. Once the soul leaves the body, then we're no different than any other rotting piece of flesh. But we are showing on Shabbat that we recognize this, that we realize that our neshamot come from Hashem. That's why it says, Uvayom hashvi'i shavat va, finish the sentence, yi nafash, from the word nefesh. It's not only a physical rest, it is also a spiritual rest. As a matter of fact, it's more of a spiritual rest than a physical rest. So, just like Hashem rested, we rest. And that is why Shabbat is so, so very important. I don't even know if I have to comment on this slide this week, but Shabbat hi makar habracha. I think we've made that point exceptionally clear this week. And let's just spend a moment, like I said earlier, on the last of the commandments, lo sachmod. I didn't really make a slide about this, but I wasn't even going to talk about it, but it occurred to me as we were just discussing this, how that made it in there. I mean, I understand adultery, I understand murder, theft, you can't have a society without these things. But covet, as George Carlin said, heavy on the covet, Father. But what we're talking about here is just jealousy and desire for what other people have. That leads to murder and theft and all that other bad stuff. It is one of the most disgusting midos of all the midos out there. And there are lots of them. But to think that Lo Tachmod made it to the top 10, think of how important it is to keep your eyes on your prize, not on what other people have. And I think that the reason that is so important is because it speaks to the attitude of gratitude. And what we said earlier, right? Let's even go back. Vayesu merafidim. The whole... Yeah, the Hayesh Hashem Bekirbeinu Imayin. Where's my Lexus? Where's my Tesla? Right? That's Rafidim. That's the Hayesh Hashem Bekirbeinu Imayin. What did he do? What did she do to deserve that? That's Merafidim. Vayavo Midbar Sinai. You have to get out of yourself. You have to get rid of all that negative. You have to have the attitude of gratitude. And that's where we need to be. Shabbos hi makar habracha, ein Yisrael negolan ela b'schus haShabbos. Don't roll on Shabbos. We're still in lockdown here in Israel for at least until, well, it's supposed to be over tomorrow. It'll be over on Sunday, whatever. Baruch Hashem, this week we could really talk about Shabbos. Zachar es Yom HaShabbos Lakadsho. Have a wonderful Shabbos. Thank you for joining us. Join us back here next week. I'll be in the States. Should be interesting. Thanks very much for joining us. Have a great Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom.